Welcome back to those to my channel who've been hanging with me some time, and welcome to those of you who are new to my channel. I'm Adele Vine, intuitive and medium. All right, so I did a poll. I haven't done a poll in a long time on which subject did you guys want me to cover. I mean, it was kind of like not a close call. You guys clearly wanted how to ward off negative energy. The funny thing is the subjects were kind of so near each other that I didn't know if you guys were going to have a strong reaction, but you did. And the other subject was, what is negative energy? And I guess we're like, Adela, we know what negative energy is. So we're going to do today how to ward off negative energy. Negative energy. All right, so the thing is, there are so many things out there. I'm sure if you look it up, you're going to find so many things for you to do, between candles and incense and crystals, and I mean the list can go on, and things to put above your door and things to put up, by your bed and all that kind of thing. But today I want to cover more the actual energy and how you can shift your energy to the energy around you to war it. Oh, I know that was a lot. Meaning that you got to first start with sensing and knowing and understanding what you're feeling around you and pinpointing it to where it is coming from. To me, this is how I do it to help ward it off. Does that make sense with me? Okay. So if not, then just keep on the ride. So what I mean by that is that if you just give like, here are 5 things to do, every situation can be different. Like the negative energy that's coming your way can be what's going on in the world today, right? With all of this heavy energy that we're in and all of the things that are going on around us, all that energy infiltrates into our world. And I think that's where I would like to begin, and then we'll kind of narrow in other scenarios that you can look for that affect you. And what does negative energy do? Negative energy is just basically other people's trash. What I mean by that, it's other people's stuff, things that are coming off of people's heart, their mind, their body, their spirit. These are, I almost see them as like flares that come off and they shoot out and they hit you. And so it's the same idea as if you feel a positive energy, or what people call the light, and you visualize it as something lighting you up and lifting you up. And if everybody says, hey, let's all come together and give positive thought and positive reinforcement. Now we believe in that, and we believe it's something that we can do together to lift someone's spirit or to help shift the energy around that person. At least we attempt it. But I feel that when it comes to negative energy, it's harder for people to pinpoint, meaning it's harder to understand, what is this, where is it coming from? So first off, if you feel like you feel heavy, you feel like you're kind of dragging, you feel like life is just kind of one of those things where thoughts are kind of changing, where they're kind of darker thoughts, meaning like, something that's telling you like, oh, this isn't going to work, this is terrible. Thoughts are different than intuition. You can tell the difference. It's almost like, feels like infiltrating. Here, I'm going to take a sip from my newest cup. Shout out to New York. What I'm saying is, there's a difference between a light energy is something we feel like we're trying to move in and we're trying to bring in to counteract another energy. And I feel like people understand this concept. We understand this concept of protection and something, bringing in something lighter, lifting, washing away, all of that. But I feel like it's hard for people to understand a concept. Is there something actually affecting me, infiltrating my space, in my home, in my sphere around me? And I want to say that I want you to be clear. I want this to be clear, that. I'm not talking about evil. I'm not talking about demons, because I know people go right to that right away. I'm talking about negative energy, which is other people's trash, meaning someone's in a bad mood, someone's angry, someone's been hurt that day, and we've all experienced. So let's say you wake up and you have a really, you feel pretty okay. You don't feel like amazing, you don't feel terrible, but you feel pretty even keel. And then again, it can be also if you're feeling amazing. But I'm going to go with even kill, because that's pretty much how we operate normally. And you go out into the world and you're going to go get something to eat, or you're going to go buy something, hopefully with a mask on, everyone. And maybe you're going out and somehow you have to interact with people, even if it's on the phone, even if it's online. And all of a sudden, someone just kind of is in a sour mood, or they're in a certain space, and immediately we tap into it. Instead of just seeing it as, here's a glass wall between me and that person, and whatever they're going through is going to bounce back to them, and that is in their own sphere. And I'm in my own sphere, and I'm just observing it. That is one way to ward off negative energy. But you have to see it first, and that's what I'm trying to say, because you may catch it in that moment and be able to put those boundaries up. But there are times where you might be going through your whole day, and you could even talk to family members and friends, and all of a sudden you're starting to feel heavier. And this is not a discussion about empathic and empaths and all this. Happens to everyone. Not everyone is aware of it, and yes, are there some people who are more sensitive to things, in the sense that they're not putting boundaries up and putting up shields around them if they are more sensitive? Yes, but this kind of happens to everyone, i.e. what's going on in the world, for example. So what we are having today is things are kind of feeling heavier, and the world is feeling a little bit darker. We're looking at the news, and we're looking at every day, it feels like we're getting hit by this happened, this happened, this happened. And sometimes people take a path of complete denial and it's just not happening, or they take a path of it's just going to roll off of them, or people start to become complacent and used to it. And I know people here watching this are not wanting to become complacent. So how do you look at that? How do you experience it and also ward it off? First, you have to see where it's coming from. First, you have to wake up in that day and see where you're at. What are you feeling? Where is your energy? Because maybe if you woke up in this kind of negative energy, maybe it isn't everything that's coming at you. Maybe there's something inside of you going on. Maybe there's something you're sad about, frustrated about. Maybe there's something inside of you that, wants to speak about something and talk and communicate with other people about what you're going through, but you feel like you can't. You have to kind of check yourself. Negative doesn't mean evil or bad. It just means a void of something lighter. Got it? Just means a void of something lighter. I don't mean light like la. I mean like ooh. I mean light where it just feels like clarity. Clarity to me is what light does. It clears things up. It moves things aside. The clouds, move away, and I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. One of my favorite songs, by the way. One of them. But, so it's one of those things that is very important that you kind of do steps internally. You obviously can read about crystals and all these type of things, and I'll mention a few of those things. But what people tend to miss is this inner compass and the inner understanding. You first got to check in. If you have a hurt knee, if you have a hurt on your body, don't you isolate and see what it is first, and then you go to a doctor to help you understand what the cause could have come from. And when you're going to the doctor and you're getting this checked out, maybe they're helping guide you and help you understand, but we tend to kind of know where an injury is coming from. Where is something bothering us and why it's bothering us? And of course, if it's really severe, then we need help. And that's true. That's true in life on a grounded way. Maybe you need to talk to someone you're getting help from, a therapist, or maybe you're talking to someone spiritual, or maybe you're just talking to a friend or a family. However, to start with, you have to check why you're starting to feel these things and look around. Did it come from somewhere outside of you? When did it start? When did you start to feel this? Where is it stemming from? Okay, first. And if you start to feel like, I feel like when I go to work, or I feel like what's going on in the world, I feel like when I talk to a friend, I feel like when I am hanging out with my family, I feel like there's like just this heavy negative vibe. How do you ward that off? That's the next step. How you ward it off is by being conscious. One way is you see this energy and you, like I said, you put boundaries. You have to value the boundaries of energy around you just as much as you value your home, your car, and other things. That's the same that you have to value the energy around you. So one way you ward it off is you see where it's coming from. And like I said, maybe you're like, hey, things in my personal life is fine. Things around me is fine. But what's going on in the world is starting to get to me. You acknowledge it, you see it, you feel it, you let it come through you. You let the emotion come through you. And then you see around you a warring off. Now, here's a couple things. One, there's almost like spikes going around you, like a sphere going, and you visualize spikes. So anything hitting you is bouncing off. You become aware of all of that trash, because that's debris that's coming off of all the different people hitting you, and you realize it's not mine, this isn't mine, I'm acknowledging it, I'm seeing it, I have empathy, I have compassion, but it's not mine. If this is a more intimate situation where you're at work or you're around someone, then you see like this glass wall and you see it around and you see what's going on, and that's different than a bubble, because it's your ability to see and acknowledge and experience what's happening in front of you, but you're not allowing it to seep inside of you. Now, lastly, things you can do consistently. And many of us forget. I even forget times like, whoa, I haven't been doing this. And that is at the end of your day, checking in with yourself. Where do you feel? What's going on with you? Do you feel like this heavy goodness? And even if you don't, you cleanse. You can use incense. You can use quartz crystals, because you can put the energy you want into quartz, put it in the sun, put it in the moon, hold it in your hand, and even create an energy. You can also do salt baths and things like this, but it is about the consciousness that you're being aware that there is like clouds around you, but you are not letting it stick to you. And then you send it back to where it came from. So if it's particularly someone else, someone in your family, I don't mean you're wishing ill. You're saying, hey, you dumped your trash here, you need to take it back. It's just not my trash. That is it. That is very different than wishing to put something onto someone. It's more of a energy and a vibration. And to me, karma is really just returning. It's like a boomerang. You put this energy into the world and you thought it was gonna just stick to that one person, but eventually it finds its way to the original owner. And that is the same of what I'm talking about. So if you feel like, hey, I was around someone, you're not wishing ill, you're just saying, hey, that's just that person's, it's not mine. So you can even picture your hand going to your chest and your hand going out and saying, me, them. Even if you're talking to someone you love and you care about, but you know their energy is just heavy, you can visualize me, them, me, them, me, them. And it's really, really important to work on this consciously. And there are many different other types of crystals if you want to use that, black tourmaline and things like this, but it's more important about the everyday maintenance of understanding negative energy, because it can seep in, and next thing you know, you're feeling it kind of invade in your space. And these are different things you can do and to be aware. If you are someone who believes in other types of beings that you want to call on, whether it be angel or fairy or alien, perhaps, or anything like this, or even those on the other side, these are also ways you can tune in and say, hey, I also need help. But most important, you have to see yourself as the warrior that you are. Stand tall, stand strong, visualize a sword on your back, and realize that things don't get to just invade in your space. Things don't get to just stick to you. And this isn't I'm more special than this person. It's just that we get in each other's way. We pollute each other's energy, just like we pollute in other ways. We sometimes cross boundaries, even if someone innocently isn't meaning to. So this is just kind of a first video, believe me, I'll do on this, because this is a big subject, and it's one of the ones I think people get very confused on. People think about evil, they think about demons, and they all lump it together, and it really isn't. So let's just that aside and focus on what I'm saying. And negative energy is energy that you are collecting throughout your day, throughout your week, and you forget to dump it. That's the last thing I'm going to say. It is good. Not everybody can go in nature and put their feet in a forest, but you can visualize things coming from your feet, even in the shower, even in the bath, and you're dumping it off of you. It's a frequency, guys. It's just a frequency. It's frequency. Think of that. It's something alive. And if you visualize it that way, then you visualize it the same way when you're cleaning yourself, that you're feeling you're getting cleansed. I know it's just easier to see that than it is to imagine. The same thing happens with energy. I hope that helped. I wanted to let you guys know. First of all, I want you guys to comment below and leave any comments that you feel, any things that you feel that help you with negative energy, or maybe just let me know, when do you feel like it comes, you know, when you're feeling it the most? Is it at night? Is it in the morning? Do you feel like, oh, you notice it? Because maybe it will help you if you put in the comments to be aware of it, and it will also help other people here who are watching this and read, hey, I'm not the only one that feels the same way. I wanted to let you know I'm still doing my special, providing my special during this crazy time that we are still in. 50% off of all my readings, which with the code PEACE, which Dale, can I talk? Yes. With the code PEACE, P-E-A-C-E. Also wanted to announce that I'm doing a class on September 19th. I'm really excited about this class because it's everything about the other side. All your DMs over all the years, emails, because those are more years, questions in person when I've done galleries, all the questions I've gotten in interviews. I want to do a class where I'm going to say, listen, let me sit down and explain, what is it like for people who have passed? What is that realm like? How is it different than here? How can you understand it? Because I fully believe if we understand things, it helps us to connect to it so much more. So I'm really excited to be able to sit down and talk about one of the favorite things I love, which is the spirit world. And I'll be doing that on September 19th. You can find that on my website, and of course if you follow me on Instagram. Thank you guys so much. Follow yourself, follow no one, listen to that inner voice, and I'll see you soon.